What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Tom Rubbish, and today I'm back with another AEW Dynamite review. This time reviewing the show that took place on the 10th of March 2021. Overall, guys, once again, I thought this was a very solid AEW Dynamite. I loved the whole way we kicked off the show with Matt Jackson versus Phoenix. I loved the TNT title match between Darby Allin and Scorpio Sky. I enjoyed the women's match and Hikaru Shida and her team versus Britt Baker and her team. And I loved what that set up for Thunder Rosa. That's really hard to say. Versus Britt Baker next week in an unsanctioned match main event. I feel like, but also the main thing I loved was obviously the thing that everyone is talking about right now, besides from the way that they covered up the botch at Revolution, but also I loved the Jericho MJF turning on the Inner Circle and being kicked out to and then revealing that he has been bubbling under the surface all this time and has formed his own faction with FTR and Tully and Sean Spears. If I know I forgot someone, but but overall I loved the way this Dynamite ended. We'll get into the minutiae of the show now and what I thought of everything else. But yeah. So, as I said, guys, we kicked off with Matt Jackson versus Rey Fenix. Thoroughly enjoyable match. I'll be honest, I have notes for this match, but they're not bell-to-bell notes. Like, I wasn't able to get every move, because if you got every move in this match, you were a very quick writer and very just very quick, and some of the moves were too quick for me to write. So this move started out with some traditional wrestling until Rey Fenix drop kicked Matt Jackson, and then hit this really cool flying arm drag off the ropes, which I found really cool. And then he would then hit dives to the outside, top rope chop exchange, and then Matt would hit a powerbomb off the top rope, which was gnarly, bro, as the kids would say. My favourite spot of the match was definitely, though, Matt hitting a destroyer outside the ring. No, inside the ring. Rey Fenix rolling outside the ring to then hit a second one outside the ring. Really enjoyed that. Thought it was a very creative spot. Fuck how his neck felt the next day. But there you go. We then saw a drop kick off the apron. Nick Jackson super kicking Pat, who was at ringside with Rey Fenix. We then saw Matt hit 2 double super kicks, and then Phoenix almost stagger, not go down, hit one of his own, and then hit Matt with a pile driver to get the win. Overall, a very fun match. All I can suggest is check this one out if you haven't. Definitely really enjoyed this, but I can't call every spot that was in this match because it was too fast. Next, we had probably a really good moment of the night and really enjoyed it. We had Kingston and Mox backstage essentially talking about the botch that happened at Revolution with only a small explosion going off. Kingston said the reason he was cowering and scared was because it brought on panic attacks that he had when he used to be in prison when he was younger and bits like that. The funniest part for me was when he said, him and Mox both said, Oh, Impact were responsible for this. I love that little dig at Impact. It was cool to see that on Dynamite rather than on Impact Wrestling for a change, and I enjoyed how I enjoyed how they covered it up, and we'll get more into that a bit later in the video. But yeah, again we had Cody versus. I apologize. All I heard was the name Seth. I didn't hear the guy's last name, but literally all you need to know is Cody hit a power slam, locked in the figure four, match over. Pentagon then comes down with his translator and essentially kicks off a feud, challenging Cody, saying if he's the Prince of Pro Wrestling, he is the Lord of Lucha Libre. I think that's what he called himself via his translator. Yeah, once again, fun segment. Like, you can't say no to a Cody Pentagon match. I'm sure that's going to be amazing. Yeah. Again, we then had another segment, which probably, if I'm being honest, my weakest point of the night, because I don't want to see this feud continue. But we had Chuck and Orange Cassidy at an arcade, and they essentially challenged Miro and Kip Sabian to another match. But this time, arcade machines are going to be surrounding the ring, and they want to beat him up using that. Again, I'm sure the match will be fun. I'm just not invested in this story to care enough. We then had a Tony Schiavone Sting promo. Once again, enjoyed it enough. He was essentially praising Darby Allin for being crazy and taking all the bumps that he did. And then Lance Archer came out. And I've seen a couple of things online about this. Was it Lance Archer actually challenging Sting? Or was he challenging Darby through Sting? Like, I would be happy with either option. If Sting can wrestle, let that match happen. If he can't, a TNT program between Lance Archer and Darby would be fun as well. Like, I don't think you're left with a bad option there. Once again, we had a match that, to be honest, I wasn't overly invested in because it was just a vehicle to get Ethan Page over. So this match started out with a dropkick by Lee Johnson. Sorry, this match had Ethan Page and Lee Johnson in it. And this match had Lee Johnson starting out with a dropkick. And then we saw Page hit this massive big backbreaker, which I thought was really cool. If that's part of his stick, you'll have to let me know, because this is the first one-on-one Ethan Page match that I've seen, and I enjoyed this. We then saw like a backbreaker off the ringside barricade because they're outside the ring. I thought that was cool. We then saw, at some point, I didn't see when this happened, but Lee Johnson tweaked his knee, and then Ethan Page hit his version of the Razor's Edge, also known as the Ego's Edge, to get the win. Again, fun enough match. Nothing that I'll probably go back and watch, but fun enough to for you to see. What's it called? What Ethan Page is all about. I really enjoyed this. Yeah. We then saw a small backstage segment where Hangman Adam Page was saying to Alex Marvez, "This is what I spent all my money on." Bottles of whiskey, obviously. Vinyl records, and this massive great lawnmower, which I thought was really cool. And then a minute later we see most of the Dark Order members all climbing onto it. But there's this one guy, I think it was 10 from the Dark Order. They say to him, "You can't ride." And he's just like, "Yeah, alright guys, I'll see you later." I didn't really understand that. If that is part of a skit from BTE or something on Dark, please let me know, because I only really watch Dynamite. So if I've missed something there, please let me know. I just didn't understand this. But overall, fun enough to see what Hangman's been spending his money on. We then saw Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Miz. Again, I butcher these Japanese names. I do apologise. Mizuyami? Mizuyami. Versus Hikaru Shida, Thunder Rosa, and Miho. Like, the lady she faced at that Shida faced at Revolution. Once again, my Fight TV app just conked out during this match, and I only saw the finish, which was Thunder Rosa wins with a roll-up. Britt Baker then comes in the ring and beats her down with Rebel's crutch to set up to the unsanctioned match next week. I will definitely be watching that one. Very excited for that. So, yeah. We then had Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky. We saw a fist bumps of sportsmanship to start off this match. And a lot of chain wrestling. Like, this isn't a criticism, but I didn't enjoy the chain wrestling too much in this match for me, considering the two workers, and we could have seen a lot more fast-paced offense. We would then see Darby injure his ankle and Scorpio Sky target that, and then eventually Darby would counter Scorpio Sky's finish, the TKO, into a roll-up and win the match. But after the match, we would then see Scorpio Sky beat down Darby Allin's ankle and lock on an ankle heel hook. So this feud is obviously continuing, and I'm 100% fine with that. Like, this was a very good match. I definitely haven't done it justice, so all I can say is check that one out. If you want to, I can highly recommend checking that one out. Very good story. Could have been a bit more fast-paced for my taste, considering the two involved. But yeah, I enjoyed this. We then got to our main event segment of the night, which was the Inner Circle War Council, which, as you guys will remember, at Revolution, there was a backstage segment where MJF and Chris Jericho were basically saying, we need to make a change in the Inner Circle, which led to this War Council. We then saw Chris Jericho started it out by saying, when an army needs blah, 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 he said, we either make changes and maybe we need to add a new member. Then MJF pipes up and is like, maybe we don't need to add a new member, Chris. Maybe we need to kick somebody out. And that's when Sammy Guevara returns, who you'll remember quit the Inner Circle 2 weeks before Revolution, I think it was. And said to Chris, you need to watch this, blah, 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 blah. And it's a hidden camera that he's hidden in the Inner Circle's locker room to basically show that MJF was trying to convince the Inner Circle to turn on Jericho. So before they see this video, the Inner Circle will line up and look like they're going to beat up Sammy and Jericho until after the video, they're all lined up against Maxwell and being like, Jericho, and this was probably my favourite part of the segment, Jericho's like, you guys, you think we don't talk to each other? You think I didn't watch the show? Like, I think that was a thinly veiled shot at WWE for none of their segments bleeding into each other. And I enjoyed that, the fact that they referenced that all of them bleed in together. And yeah, the MJF is then cowering in the corner like, please don't hurt me, Chris. I didn't want to take over your group, blah, 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 blah. And he does his best Vince McMahon impression, Jericho does, and goes, MJF, you're fired. and then all of a sudden MJF is like, I don't want to take over your group, because I was busy starting my own. Then the lights go out, and when the lights come back up again, we see FTR and Sean Spears and Tully Blanchard. Blanchard or Blanchard? I always get that wrong. Are in the ring. And they basically all beat down the Inner Circle. We see Santana and Ortiz take a pile driver from FTR. We see Sammy Guevara hit with a bottle by, I think it was Sean Spears. The camera placement wasn't very good. I didn't actually see this. But the final thing we see is, the final image of the show is Jericho powerbombed through a table by Wardlow. Oh, Wardlow was there. I apologise. That's the one I forgot. He's now on MJF's side again. Powerbombs Jericho through a table on the announcer's position, on the stage, should I say, and we then see, to end the show, Jericho's bloody, the Inner Circle are beaten down, and MJF's new group are standing tall. So overall, once again, I'm very excited to see where this will lead. All day online, I've seen possible blood and guts match. I'd love to see that personally, but again, I just feel like this will set up Dynamite probably with long-term booking, at least Full Gear, maybe Revolution next year, but we shall see. Overall, guys, another fun Dynamite. If you like this video, please subscribe and like. I'll see you in the next one. Much love. Bye.